Imagine you wake up 10,000 years ago. No tools, no language in common with anyone nearby. Just dirt under your nails and a strange itch in your brain telling you to build a post office. Just a building where people drop off letters and other people pick them up, which turns out to be one of the harder things a species can build. A post office needs post, and post needs four things that do not exist yet. Something to write on, something to write with, someone willing to walk it somewhere else, and a system that stops the whole thing from collapsing into chaos the second more than one letter exists at a time. Step 1, you need writing. Right now, your entire species communicates by pointing and grunting, which works fine until the person you need to talk to is 40 miles away. So you start scratching shapes into things. A sun for daytime. A stick figure for a person. Slowly, the pictures stop looking like the thing and start standing for the sound of the word instead. That shift from drawing to spelling is the biggest jump your species will ever make, and you just did it because you got tired of walking. Now you need something to put the writing on, and this is where most would-be inventors quit. Clay works, technically, but a letter is now a slab, and mailing someone a slab is a war crime. Skin holds up fine, but it takes an entire goat to write one page, so every letter costs roughly as much as livestock. Leaves dry out mid-sentence. For a stretch, you are a very literate person with nothing functional to write on. Then you find the trick. Take bark, rags, old fishing net, anything with fiber in it, and beat it into pulp. Mix the pulp with water, spread it thin across a screen, let it dry flat. What comes off the screen is paper. Cheap, light, foldable, and it doesn't require killing anything larger than a tree. Somewhere in Han, China, around the 2nd century, a court official named Kai Lun does exactly this, and it outlives his entire dynasty. Ink comes almost embarrassingly easy after that. So, water, a binding agent to keep it from smearing, burn something, scrape the residue, mix it in a bowl. The technology to write was sitting in every campfire the whole time. Paper and ink give you a letter. A post office is a promise that the letter moves, and right now the only thing moving it is you, on foot, abandoning your entire life to deliver one sentence to your cousin. So you build a relay, stations spaced a day's walk apart, a rider or a runner at each one. The message passed hand to hand instead of carried the whole way by one exhausted person. The Persians will run this exact system under Darius, hundreds of miles of road with fresh horses staged at every stop, fast enough that a Greek historian later marvels that no weather seemed able to slow the riders down. The Inca do it on foot through mountains that should be impassable. Runners called chosky, sprinting relay legs across the empire. Fish carried down from the coast to the emperor's table in the mountains while it's still fresh. Rome eventually formalizes the whole thing into a state service, the cursus publicus, because an empire that can't send orders faster than a man can walk isn't really an empire, just a large area with a flag on it. One more piece. You need to prove a letter came from who it claims, so you press a seal into wax, or fire a clay lump around the knot of the string, and tampering leaves a mark. Once more than a handful of letters are moving at once, you need to know whose hut is whose, so you start numbering dwellings, naming the paths between them, sorting scrolls before the runner even leaves. Somewhere in that process, you have independently invented the address, the postmark, and middle management. And the reason is that two people in the village happen to be named Grack, and the courier keeps delivering the wrong one's mail. Now the part that actually matters. What do people do with it? The chief is the first to realize the post office is a lever, not a convenience, and starts sending scrolls to every hut, demanding grain by the new moon. Someone claims theirs never arrived. The chief produces a signed delivery record. The claim does not survive the paperwork. One man is genuinely terrible at hunting, has missed every boar for 2 straight seasons, and gets quietly moved to running letters between villages instead. He is paid the same in meat. The hunters resent this more than anything else that has happened to the tribe all year, mostly because the new job involves less risk of being gored. Brevity has never had to exist before, so nobody has it. A man writes 6 paragraphs asking his neighbor to borrow an axe. The neighbor writes 4 paragraphs back to say yes, and works in a question about the man's mother, because apparently that's just what letters do now. A suitor sends a marriage proposal by courier. The courier stops to chase a boar for 2 days. By the time the scroll arrives, she's already married someone else, and the tribe spends the next month debating whether this counts as being dumped by a person or by an institution. A scroll gets passed hut to hut, each person adding 1 line before sending it along, and it takes 4 months to circle back to the man who started it. He has forgotten writing it entirely, and spends a full week convinced the tribe is prophesying his death before someone points out it's just his own handwriting. 2 villages fall into an argument conducted entirely by mail, each side stewing for weeks over the other's reply, and by the time anyone actually sits down face to face, the fight has run so long neither remembers what started it. It moves at the speed of a man walking, but functionally it's the same fight people will still be having in comment sections. And then there's Grak. Grak's wife wants a divorce, and the tribal elder wants proof he was actually hunting in the neighboring village last Tuesday, and not, as she suspects, avoiding chores with his idiot cousin again. The post office has a record. A scroll, stamped, dated, delivered, showing Grak at the outpost, 40 miles from home, at the exact hour he claimed. The elder reads it aloud to the whole tribe, and a building whose only job was moving paper has just produced the first piece of evidence anyone has ever entered into a divorce hearing. Nobody who invented paper, or ink, or the relay system, or the wax seal, set out to make any of this happen. They wanted to talk to someone who lived far away. What they built instead was taxes, office politics, a breakup, a chain letter, a flame war, and a courtroom exhibit, which, if you think about it, is still mostly what the mail is for. The post office never stopped needing you. Subscribe so the next letter actually gets delivered.